They say a woman's heart is an ocean of secrets, but for Amani Wright, it was a sanctuary for a man who didn't deserve its peace. At 36, Amani was a masterpiece of fullness, a big, beautiful black woman whose skin held the warmth of the earth and whose natural curls were a crown of resilience. She didn't possess the fragile, paper-thin silhouette often glorified in K-dramas. She moved with a quiet, grounded dignity, carrying a charm that was as vast as her spirit. Her laughter was medicine, and her determination. It was the kind of force that could move mountains and still the fiercest storms. Stories of this depth are rare. If you believe in the power of truth and transformation, subscribe to join our community. Now, let us look closer at the woman who gave everything for a dream that wasn't hers. Amani married King Dae-Hyun when their only wealth was hope. Dae-Hyun was tall, sharp, and fueled by a restless ambition, but the American dream felt more like a locked door. As an immigrant navigating a language that felt like glass in his mouth and a city that offered no hand to hold, he was met with a relentless tide of rejection. They survived in the shadows of Chicago's South Side, huddled in a studio apartment where the winter wind whispered through the cracks. Their home was a mattress on the floor and a Goodwill rack for a closet. There were nights when the only thing keeping them full was the steam from a bowl of ramen and Amani's unwavering belief that his day would come. But Amani never complained. Whenever Dae-Hyun came home with a tired, defeated face, Amani would rub his shoulders and say, "Don't worry, my love. One day everything will change. You will sit in a big office wearing a suit and tie. You will drive your own car and people will call you Mr. Kang." Dae-Hyun would smile weakly. "Amen, but look at us, Amani, look at where we are." And Amani would touch his cheek with her gentle hand. "Where we are doesn't matter. Who we are matters more. I believe in you. I know you are going far." They had 2 children, Jaewon, a girl of 8 years, and Taeyong, a boy of 5. Life was hard, but Amani carried the weight of the family like a lioness protecting her cubs. She woke early to sell soul food plates from their apartment, fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens, to neighbors rushing to work. Sometimes she cleaned offices. Sometimes she braided hair on weekends. Every dollar she made, she brought home. "Dae-Hyun, keep this," she would say, dropping money in his hand. "Go buy professional clothes, apply for more jobs, don't give up." And Dae-Hyun, though ashamed, always obeyed. One day, Amani heard of a vacancy at a Korean-American trading company through a client whose hair she braided. She quickly rushed home. "Dae-Hyun, wear your best shirt, comb your hair. There is an interview happening today. Go and try." Dae-Hyun sighed. "Ah, Amani, those people don't want people like me. I've tried and tried, I'm tired." But Amani stood firm. "If you don't go, I will drag you there myself. Do you want to rot in this apartment forever? You are a man with brains, Dae-Hyun. Let people see it." Her fire lit his spirit. He went. 2 weeks later, a letter came. Dae-Hyun had gotten the job. Amani danced like a child. She rolled on the floor, clapping her hands, shouting, "Thank you, Jesus. My husband has a job." From that day, their lives began to change slowly. Dae-Hyun was now working in an office, earning a monthly salary. Amani continued selling food plates, but now she added baked goods and catering small events. Together, they were surviving better. With time, Dae-Hyun climbed higher. His dedication was sharp, and his intelligence shone. His Korean bosses loved him. In 5 years, Dae-Hyun had moved from earning barely enough to becoming a senior executive with a 6-figure salary. They moved out of the studio apartment into a small house, then into a large house in the suburbs with a backyard and a 2-car garage. Amani wept as they carried their things. She touched the broken radiator in their old apartment one last time and whispered, "Thank you for keeping us warm." Dae-Hyun hugged her. "You are a strange woman who thanks a broken radiator." Amani smiled, a grateful woman. Their children now went to better schools. Dae-Hyun started buying Amani gifts, jewelry, handbags, dresses. He even got her a car. Life was sweet. But something else also changed. Dae-Hyun, now wealthy and exposed to corporate Korean culture, began to see the world differently. His colleagues, mostly Korean men who had married Korean women, had slim wives who wore designer clothes, got regular beauty treatments, spoke perfect Korean, and looked like they stepped out of magazine covers. At company dinners and corporate events, these women glided into rooms wearing Chanel and Prada, their skin pale and flawless, their hair perfectly styled. Amani, with her plus-sized body, her natural black hair, her warm brown skin, and her simple dresses, didn't match that picture. At first it was small comments. "Amani, maybe you should try to lose some weight. All the other wives go to the gym. Why don't you straighten your hair? It looks unprofessional. Can you at least try to look like you belong at these events?" Sometimes he said it as a joke in front of his colleagues. They would laugh. Amani would laugh too, but her heart bled inside. One evening she wore a new red dress she had sewn especially for a company gala. She stood before him, smiling shyly. "How do I look, my love?" Dae-Hyun looked up and hissed. "You look like a wrapped package that's too big for the box. Why do you waste money on dresses instead of a gym membership?" The words cut her like a knife. She went inside, sat on the bed, and cried silently. She remembered the day she pawned her grandmother's ring to buy Dae-Hyun his first professional suit. She remembered feeding him when he was hungry, paying his bus fare when he had no money, believing in him when the world rejected him. Now the man she sacrificed everything for was mocking her body, her blackness, her very existence. But she kept quiet. She didn't want her children to see them quarrel. At night when Dae-Hyun slept, Amani often turned her face to the wall and let tears roll down. She prayed silently. "God, I love this man. I carried him when he had nothing. I cleaned his shoes when nobody respected him. Now that he is successful, he is ashamed of me. Father, help me. Don't let my marriage fall apart." She thought of dieting, but every time she tried, stress made her eat again. She thought of the gym, but time and money didn't allow. Still, she tried little by little. But no matter what she did, Dae-Hyun's words grew harsher. He would come home smelling of strange perfume. He stayed longer at work. Sometimes he ignored her calls. "Mommy, why is Daddy always angry with you?" Jae-won asked one evening. Amani forced a smile. "Don't worry, my daughter. Daddy is just tired from work." But deep inside, her heart was cracking. One Saturday morning, Amani woke early and prepared Dae-Hyun's favorite breakfast, pancakes and eggs with Korean side dishes. She dressed the children neatly, and they all waited for him in the living room. When he finally came out of the bedroom looking sharp in a new polo shirt, Amani smiled. "Darling, sit down. We want to eat together today." Dae-Hyun frowned. "Amani, look at you. You are sweating already this early morning. Always sweating, you disgust me." Her hands shook. The children froze. Tae-young whispered, "Mommy, don't cry." But Amani's tears dropped before she could stop them. Dae-Hyun was no longer the man Amani once knew. He used to run home to her smile, to her food, to her laughter. But now he came home late every day smelling of wine and strange perfume. Amani tried to pretend she didn't notice at first. She told herself, maybe it's work, maybe it's stress. But deep inside, her heart feared. One night when he walked in very late, she gently asked, "Dae-Hyun, why are you coming home so late these days? The children wait for you. They ask about you." Dae-Hyun dropped his car keys on the table with a loud bang. His eyes turned red with anger. "Amani, must you always nag me? Is it your business when I come home? Look at you. Fat, dark-skinned, your hair always a mess. You disgust me. Don't ever question me again." His words cut her heart like a knife. Amani's eyes filled with tears. She turned away so the children would not see her cry, but they did. Jae-won held her mother's hand tightly, whispering, "Mommy, sorry, don't cry." Dae-Hyun was now seeing another woman. Her name was Yoona Park, a beautiful, slim Korean woman who worked in his company. She loved wearing fitted dresses and red lipstick. She didn't care about Amani. She didn't care about the children. She only cared about herself and Dae-Hyun. Whenever Dae-Hyun visited her apartment, Yuna would smile, touch his chest and say softly, "You know I love you, Dae-Hyun. Why are you still keeping that black woman in your house? She doesn't fit you. You are a big man now. You need a woman like me by your side." Dae-Hyun laughed, sipping his drink. "Don't worry, baby, I will throw her out soon. It's just the children I am thinking of." Yuna rolled her eyes. "Children, they will survive, be fast, Dae-Hyun. I don't want to continue sharing you with that fat black woman. You deserve better, and I am better." Dae-Hyun nodded. "Don't worry, soon, very soon." Back at home, Amani waited every night, her heart breaking. She cooked his favorite food, but Dae-Hyun no longer touched it. She wore her best dresses, but Dae-Hyun no longer looked at her. One night she gathered courage and said, "Dae-Hyun, is there another woman? Please, if there is, tell me the truth." Dae-Hyun's face twisted with anger. "Are you mad? Who do you think you are to question me? Look at your body. Look at your skin. Do you think any man wants a woman like you? I am even ashamed of you. Be grateful I still let you stay in my house." Amani broke down, sobbing loudly. "Dae-Hyun, after all I did for you, after all I sacrificed, I carried this family when you had nothing. I believed in you when the world mocked you, and this is how you pay me back." But Dae-Hyun only hissed, picked up his car keys and stormed out again. The children were not too young to understand. Jaewon asked her mother, "Mommy, why doesn't Daddy love you anymore? Why does he always go out and come back angry?" Amani hugged her tightly, hiding her tears. "Don't worry, my daughter, Daddy is just busy. One day things will change." But deep in her heart, she was breaking. One afternoon, Amani saw Yuna for the first time. Dae-Hyun had dropped her near their neighborhood, forgetting that Amani was returning from the grocery store at the same time. Yuna looked at Amani with a sly smile. "So you are the wife? Now I see why Dae-Hyun is ashamed of you. Look at you, fat, dark, unrefined. Do you think you can keep a man like him? Wake up, madam. Dae-Hyun is mine now." Amani's grocery bags nearly fell from her hands. Tears burned her eyes, but she said nothing. She just walked away slowly, her heart heavy like stone. That night when Dae-Hyun returned, Amani begged him, "Dae-Hyun, please don't destroy this home. The children need you. I need you. Don't let that woman scatter what we built together." But Dae-Hyun shouted, "Shut up, Amani, don't ever mention her name again. If not for the children, I would have thrown you out already. You are a disgrace to me. You're too black, too fat, too ghetto. I regret ever marrying you." Amani fell to the floor, crying bitterly. Her chest hurt as if someone had stabbed her. Days turned into weeks. Dae-Hyun now spent more time at Yuna's apartment than his own home. He bought her expensive gifts, designer bags, perfumes, jewelry. He took her out to restaurants and hotels. At home, Amani suffered. The children noticed there was less money for groceries because Dae-Hyun spent most of it on Yuna. Amani returned to selling food plates to make sure Jaewon and Taeyong had something to eat. Neighbors began to gossip. "Ah, see Amani, her husband is rich, but look at her selling food again. That man has another woman, that's why." Their whispers broke Amani's heart even more, but she kept pushing for her children. She refused to give up. Days passed and Amani's sadness grew deeper. Dae-Hyun no longer looked at her like his wife. He mocked her for her size, her skin, ignored her tears, and spent most nights at Yuna's place. She barely slept anymore. Many nights, she sat by the window, staring at the quiet sky, whispering prayers that seemed to bounce back in silence. Her heart was breaking slowly. One morning, after another sleepless night waiting for Dae-Hyun, Amani finally decided she couldn't keep quiet anymore. She wiped her face, dressed up neatly, and took the train to see her older brother, Lucian Bennett. Lucian was a kind man, strong, honest, and respected by everyone. When Amani arrived at his apartment, her eyes were swollen from crying. "Amani, what happened?" he asked softly, noticing her pain. She broke down immediately, falling on her knees before him. "Brother Lucian, please talk to Dae-Hyun for me. He no longer cares for me or the children. He insults me every day, calls me fat and ugly, says my black skin disgusts him. He now has another woman, a Korean woman. Please help me before I lose my home." Lucian sighed deeply and shook his head. "Amani, stop crying. You are a good woman. I know what you did for Dae-Hyun when he had nothing. Don't worry, I'll talk to him." Amani looked up, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Thank you, brother. I don't want to lose my marriage. I just want peace." Lucian placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Go home. I'll handle it." The next day, Lucian decided to surprise Dae-Hyun at work. Dae-Hyun was sitting in his big office wearing a fine suit, scrolling through his phone when his secretary entered. "Sir, your brother-in-law, Mr. Lucian Bennett, is here to see you." Dae-Hyun looked up quickly. "Lucian, oh, let him in." Lucian walked in slowly, his face serious and calm, but his eyes were firm. Dae-Hyun stood up, smiling awkwardly. "Lucian, you didn't tell me you were coming. What a surprise." But Lucian didn't smile back. He looked straight at him and said, "Dae-Hyun, sit down." Dae-Hyun frowned a little but obeyed. "Brother, what's wrong?" Lucian placed both hands on the table and stared at him. "You are what's wrong, Dae-Hyun. Have you forgotten how you started? Have you forgotten the woman who built you up when you had nothing? The woman who sold food to feed you and your children? Wasn't she black when you married her? Wasn't she plus-sized when she was paying your bills? Now because you have money, you call her fat. You mock her skin. You insult her. You cheat on her." Dae-Hyun tried to speak. "Brother, please don't believe everything she—" But Lucian slammed the table. "Keep quiet. When you were broke, you didn't notice she was black or plus-sized. When you were hungry, her food was sweet to you. When you had no job, she stood by you. Now that you are rich, she's suddenly not good enough. You are a disgrace, Dae-Hyun. Very shameful." Dae-Hyun looked down, ashamed, but pride filled his heart. Lucian continued, "You have abandoned your family for another woman who doesn't even care about you. I am ashamed of you, Dae-Hyun. Very ashamed." Lucian grabbed his car keys and stood up. "If you keep walking this road, you will lose everything that truly matters." Without another word, he turned and walked out, slamming the door behind him. Dae-Hyun sat there sweating, his jaw tight with anger, not at himself but at Amani. That evening when Dae-Hyun returned home, he was breathing fire. He opened the door so hard that the children ran in fear. "Amani," he shouted. Amani came out quietly from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. "Yes, Dae-Hyun." He pointed at her angrily. "So, you went to report me to your brother. You want to make me look like a fool. You want to destroy my reputation." Amani's heart pounded. "Dae-Hyun, I only wanted him to talk to you. I didn't mean any harm. You don't listen to me anymore." Before she could finish, he slapped her hard across the face. "You shameless woman, you want to embarrass me. You fat black fool." He screamed, hitting her again. The children screamed, Daddy, stop hurting Mommy." But Dae-Hyun pushed Amani to the floor. "Get out of my house." Tears streamed down Amani's face as she crawled up, holding her cheek. "Dae-Hyun, please don't do this in front of the children, please." But Dae-Hyun was too angry to listen. "Leave now. I don't ever want to see your face again." He grabbed her small bag, threw it outside, and dragged her toward the door. Jaewon ran after her mother, crying, "Mommy, don't go." Taeyong held her dress tightly, sobbing, "Mommy, please don't leave us." Amani knelt and hugged them tightly, tears falling freely. "My Bobbies, I love you, don't cry. I will come for you, I promise." Dae-Hyun shouted, "Children, come inside now." But they refused to move. They stood outside crying as their mother picked up her small bag and walked away barefoot and broken. Amani walked a long distance in the cold night before reaching the apartment of her best friend, Keisha Williams. She knocked weakly, her eyes swollen and red. When Keisha opened the door and saw her, she gasped, "Jesus, Amani, what happened to you?" Amani broke down, crying loudly. "He beat me. He threw me out. Dae-Hyun said I should leave his house." Keisha quickly pulled her inside and hugged her tightly. "SHH, stop crying. You'll be fine, my sister. Don't cry again." She helped Amani sit down, brought her water and wiped her tears. "You can stay here as long as you want. Forget that man. He doesn't deserve you." But Amani shook her head sadly. "Keisha, it hurts. I gave him everything. I built him. I suffered with him, and now he treats me like trash." Keisha held her hands. "Listen to me, Amani. Sometimes pain opens the door for something better. You will rise again. Just be strong." Amani looked up at her friend, eyes full of sorrow. "How can I be strong when my children are not with me?" Keisha's heart broke. "We'll find a way, my sister. Don't lose hope." While Amani was crying at her friend's apartment, Dae-Hyun wasted no time. That same week, he brought Yuna into the home. The neighbors were shocked. This man didn't even wait. He replaced his wife like she never existed. Yuna came in with her designer dresses, loud perfume and pride. She sat on Amani's furniture, used her kitchen, and even slept on her bed. When the children came home from school and saw her, Dae-Hyun frowned. "Who are you?" Yuna smiled wickedly. "I am your daddy's new woman. Go and take your bath." Tae-young shouted, "You are not our mommy. Our mommy is Amani." Dae-Hyun raised his voice. "Enough, you will respect her. She is your new mother now." The children began to cry. Dae-Hyun held Tae-young's hand and ran to their room sobbing. "We want mommy. We want mommy." Dae-Hyun ignored them, pretending not to hear. Yuna laughed softly, resting her head on his shoulder. "Let them cry, baby," she whispered. "They'll get used to me soon. Forget that fat black woman. She's gone for good." Dae-Hyun nodded silently, but deep inside, a small shadow of guilt crept into his heart. That night, as Dae-Hyun lay beside Yuna, he turned to the wall and sighed heavily. Far away, Amani sat by Keisha's window, looking at the moon through her tears. Her voice trembled as she whispered, "God, if you can hear me, please don't let my children forget me." Days turned to weeks, and Amani stayed with Keisha. Though Keisha treated her with love, Amani's heart was never at peace. Every night she cried quietly, thinking about her children. She wondered if they had eaten, if they were sleeping well, if they missed her as much as she missed them. Sometimes Keisha would wake up and find Amani sitting by the window, staring into the dark sky. "Amani," she would whisper softly, "come and sleep. Crying won't solve it." Amani would shake her head slowly, tears running down her face. "Keisha, my heart aches. My children, my bobbies, they need me. I can't even hug them. I can't kiss them good night." Keisha sat beside her and held her hands. "I know, my sister, but one day God will fight for you. Just wait and see." Amani nodded weakly. "I hope so, because right now I feel like I have nothing left." Meanwhile, in Dae-Hyun's house, everything had changed. The once warm, happy home had turned into a cold, silent place. Yuna moved around like a queen. She changed the curtains, removed Amani's pictures from the walls, and even threw away some of her things. She would look at Dae-Hyun and smile. "Now this house looks like mine." Dae-Hyun laughed and said, "You can do whatever you like, baby. This is your home now." But deep inside, he didn't feel the peace he expected. The laughter in the house was gone. The children rarely smiled. Dae-Hyun had stopped eating well, and Tae-young cried every night, asking for his mother. Sometimes when Dae-Hyun sat at the dining table, he could still hear Amani's voice in his head. Her laughter, her gentle, "Darling, your food is ready." But when he looked up, it was Yuna standing there wearing short dresses and rolling her eyes if he didn't smile. "Dae-Hyun," she said one night, "you think too much these days. Are you missing that woman?" Dae-Hyun frowned. "What kind of question is that?" Yuna smacked her lips. "I'm just asking. You better forget her. I don't want her name mentioned here again." Dae-Hyun looked at her and said nothing, but that night he couldn't sleep. The children were the ones who suffered the most. Jae-won would wake up crying in the middle of the night. "Daddy, where is Mommy? I want Mommy." Dae-Hyun would sigh and say, "Go back to sleep. Mommy is fine." But Yoona didn't like it. "Dae-Hyun, you better control those kids. I don't want to hear that woman's name in this house again. I'm not their maid." Dae-Hyun shouted at the children, "Enough, don't ever mention your mother again." From that day, Jae-won and Tae-young stopped talking much. They became quiet and sad. Sometimes they whispered to each other at night, holding hands. One evening, Tae-young said softly, "Sister, do you think Mommy will come back?" Jae-won nodded, wiping her tears. "She will. Mommy never breaks her promise." One Saturday, when Yoona went out shopping, Jae-won sneaked out of the house with Tae-young. They took a taxi using money they had saved and went straight to Keisha's apartment. When Amani opened the door and saw them, she screamed in shock, "My bobbies!" The children ran into her arms, crying, "Mommy, we missed you." Amani fell to her knees, hugging them tightly, kissing their faces over and over again. Tears rolled down her cheeks like rain. "My bobbies! Oh, my bobbies, I missed you too." Keisha came out from the kitchen and gasped, "Jesus, how did they come here?" "Daddy's girlfriend went out," Jae-won said softly. "We just wanted to see Mommy." Amani looked at them sadly. "Does your father know you came?" Tae-young shook his head. "No, Mommy, please don't tell him. He will beat us." Amani hugged them again. "Don't worry, you'll be safe today." But deep inside, she knew this visit would cause trouble once Dae-Hyun found out. One afternoon, Keisha brought food to the table. "Amani, eat something. You've been crying since morning." Amani looked down at the food and whispered, "I'm not hungry." Keisha sighed. "Amani, you have to stop punishing yourself. That man doesn't deserve your tears. You are beautiful, strong, and kind. Don't let his words kill your spirit." Amani smiled weakly. "Keisha, I just want my children. That's all that matters to me." Keisha's eyes softened. She held Amani's hands and said, "You will have them back one day, my sister. No storm lasts forever. Just keep praying and stay strong. Your children will smile in your arms again." Not long after, Keisha helped Amani get a secretary job at her company. Amani, for the first time since the marriage, focused on herself. She went to work, earned her own money, and began healing slowly. Meanwhile, Dae-Hyun began to notice that Yoona wasn't the angel he thought she was. She complained about everything. "Dae-Hyun," she said one morning, "why is this house so boring? Why don't you take me on trips like other rich men do?" Dae-Hyun frowned. "Yoona, I'm busy. I have meetings and projects to handle." She rolled her eyes. "Busy, busy, busy. When you were chasing me, you weren't too busy." Sometimes she would insult him if he didn't give her money. "Is it not me that makes you look good? Without me, you're just an old man." Dae-Hyun was shocked. No one had ever talked to him like that before. At night when he lay in bed, he thought of Amani again, her patience, her quiet strength, her kindness. She never raised her voice even when she was hurt. But pride wouldn't let him admit it out loud. One Friday evening, Dae-Hyun came home earlier than usual. He wanted to surprise Yoona, maybe show her love again and fix their relationship. But the moment he opened the door, he heard laughter, a man's voice. He froze. Slowly, he walked toward the living room, and what he saw made his heart stop. Yoona was sitting on the couch wearing a short nightdress, laughing and holding another man's hand as they drank wine together. Dae-Hyun shouted, "Yoona." She turned in shock, then frowned. "Oh, you're back early." Dae-Hyun's voice shook. "Who is this man in my house sitting on my couch?" The man stood up nervously. "Bro, calm down." "Don't call me bro," Dae-Hyun roared. "What are you doing in my house?" Yoona rolled her eyes. "Stop shouting, Dae-Hyun, he's just a friend." Just a friend drinking wine with you in my living room while you're half-dressed." She dropped her glass. "Dae-Hyun, don't start drama. You're always shouting. I just needed company." Dae-Hyun's body trembled. "Yuna, after everything I gave you, my home, my peace, my money, you bring a man into my house." Yuna smirked. "Your house? Please don't act like a saint. You threw your black wife out and ran to me. Remember, now you're crying because I'm doing to you exactly what you did to her." The words hit Dae-Hyun like thunder. His chest tightened. Tears filled his eyes. Without another word, he turned around and walked out, slamming the door behind him. Dae-Hyun got into his car and drove into the night. His mind was blank, his heart heavy with regret. He could still hear Yuna's cruel words echoing in his head. "You threw your black wife out. Now you're crying." He saw Amani's face clearly. Her smile, her kindness, her love. Her tears. A tear rolled down his cheek. "What have I done?" he whispered. He pressed harder on the accelerator. Rain began to fall. The road was slippery. He couldn't stop thinking. Amani's voice played in his mind. "Don't worry, my love. One day everything will change." Her face when she fed him. Her hands when she rubbed his shoulders. Her tears when he called her fat and ugly and black. "Oh God, what have I done?" he whispered again, louder this time. The rain fell harder. His vision blurred, from rain or tears, he couldn't tell. Then suddenly, a huge truck appeared out of nowhere. Dae-Hyun tried to swerve, but it was too late. The sound of metal tearing filled the air. The car spun violently and slammed into a pole. Glass shattered everywhere. Then everything went silent. Everything went dark. News of the accident spread quickly. When Lucian heard what happened, he dropped everything and rushed to the hospital. His heart was beating fast as he prayed silently. "Oh God, please don't let him die. Please give him another chance." When he reached the hospital, he ran straight to the reception. "Good afternoon. My name is Lucian Bennett. My brother-in-law, Kang Dae-Hyun, was brought here after an accident. Please, where is he?" The nurse looked up from her desk. "Room 206, sir, but the doctor is there right now." Lucian didn't wait another second. He hurried down the long white corridor, his shoes echoing on the floor, his heart heavy, his hands shaking. When he entered the ward, he stopped at the door, staring at the sight before him. Dae-Hyun was lying on the hospital bed, his head wrapped in bandages, both legs covered with white plaster. Machines beeped softly beside him. He looked weak, pale, and broken. Nothing like the proud, strong man Lucian once knew. Lucian swallowed hard and whispered, "Oh God, what happened to him?" The doctor turned around and greeted him politely. "Good afternoon, sir. Are you the patient's relative?" Lucian nodded quickly. "Yes, I'm his brother-in-law. Please, how is he?" The doctor sighed. "He is very lucky to be alive. The accident was serious. His 2 legs were badly injured, especially the left one. We did everything we could. With time, therapy, and proper care, he will be able to walk again, but not soon." Lucian frowned in worry. "Doctor, what do you mean?" The doctor replied gently. "For now, he won't be able to walk. He will have to use a wheelchair until his legs heal enough for therapy. It may take months." Lucian stood still for a moment, speechless, his eyes filled with tears. "Oh God, my brother." The doctor patted his shoulder softly. "Be thankful he survived. It could have been worse. God gave him a second chance." Lucian nodded slowly, his heart heavy. He looked again at Dae-Hyun lying helplessly on the bed. The strong man who once laughed so loud, mocked his wife, and lived like a king now couldn't move his legs. After 3 long weeks in the hospital, Dae-Hyun was finally discharged. His body was weak, his legs wrapped with bandages, and his heart full of shame. Lucian came that morning to help him return home. The nurse rolled his wheelchair out, and Lucian slowly helped him into the car. Dae-Hyun winced in pain as his brother lifted him carefully. "Take it easy, brother," Lucian said softly. Dae-Hyun nodded weakly, his eyes wet. Thank you, brother, for not abandoning me. Lushan sighed. Your family, Dae-Hyun, but I pray this experience teaches you something. The ride home was quiet. Dae-Hyun stared out the window, watching the world move, people walking freely, children playing, cars speeding by, all things he couldn't do anymore. Tears rolled silently down his cheeks. When they got to the house, Lushan parked and walked around to help his brother out. Yuna was inside, sitting at her dressing table, painting her nails and humming to music. Lushan carried Dae-Hyun gently and placed him in his wheelchair. Dae-Hyun looked around the living room. Everything still smelled like Yuna's perfume, but the warmth that once filled the house was gone. Yuna, Lushan called out, he's back home. Yuna didn't answer immediately. She took her time finishing her makeup before walking lazily into the living room. Her eyes met Dae-Hyun's and she frowned slightly. Oh, you're back. Dae-Hyun looked down. Yes, the doctor said I'll be using this wheelchair for some time. Yuna crossed her arms. That's your business. Lushan stared at her in disbelief. That's all you have to say. She shrugged. What else should I say? Welcome home. Lushan clenched his fists but tried to stay calm. I helped bring him home. He'll need care, someone to cook for him, give him his medication, help him move around. Yuna rolled her eyes. And why are you telling me? Lushan frowned. Because you're the woman living with him, isn't that obvious? Yuna laughed mockingly. Wait, are you trying to leave this man here for me to take care of? Do I look like his wife to you? You must be joking. Lushan's face hardened. Yuna, is he not your man? You're the reason his wife left. You told him to throw her out. Now you want to abandon him when he needs you most. Yuna hissed loudly. Did I force him to throw his wife out? No, that was his choice. He invited me to stay, but he didn't marry me. So don't expect me to turn into a nurse or maid for your brother. Lushan's anger burned. You wicked woman, you destroyed his home and now you talk like this. Yuna folded her arms calmly. Look, if you still care about him, you better hire someone to take care of him because I'm not doing it. Lushan looked at Dae-Hyun, who sat silently in his wheelchair, tears gathering in his eyes. You see, Dae-Hyun, you see who you threw your wife away for. The woman you called queen is showing you her true colors now. Dae-Hyun lowered his head in shame. Brother, I have no words. Lushan shook his head sadly. I warned you, but pride blinded you. I'll come to check on you later, but remember, this is the fruit of your actions. He picked up his car keys and walked to the door. Yuna called out behind him, please close the door when you leave. Lushan stopped for a second, turned around and gave her a cold look. You'll answer to God for your cruelty. Then he left. That evening the house was quiet. Dae-Hyun sat alone in his wheelchair, staring at the ceiling. His legs hurt, but what hurt more was the emptiness inside his chest. He called out softly, Yuna, Yuna, please come. No answer. He tried again, louder, Yuna. After some seconds, Yuna shouted back from the bedroom. What is it again? Can't you let someone rest? Dae-Hyun sighed. Please help me. I need to take my medication. I'm hungry. Yuna stormed out angrily. Dae-Hyun, how many times will I tell you? I am not your maid. You better find someone to do all these things for you. Dae-Hyun looked at her helplessly. Yuna, please just help me make some food so I can take my medicine. Yuna folded her arms. Dae-Hyun, I need money. I want to fix my hair and buy some things. Dae-Hyun swallowed hard. Yuna, I don't have money now. The accident cost me everything I had. My savings are gone. Yuna laughed wickedly. Then there's no reason for me to be here. You can't provide for me anymore, so what am I doing here? Dae-Hyun's voice broke. Yuna, don't say that. You can't leave me like this. But Yuna was already walking away. She opened the wardrobe and began packing her clothes into a big suitcase. Dae-Hyun's eyes widened. Yuna, please don't do this. I need you. She turned sharply. Need me? You should have thought of that before you threw your wife out. I'm not your wife. I don't owe you anything. Dae-Hyun reached out helplessly. Yuna, please. She ignored him, zipped up her suitcase, and walked out without looking back. The door slammed hard, and silence filled the house again. Dae-Hyun sat there, motionless, staring into space. The truth hit him like thunder. He had lost everything: his wife, his children, his peace, and now the woman he thought loved him. Tears poured down his face as he whispered, "Oh God, what have I done to myself?" The next day, Lucian came to check on him. When he entered the house and didn't see Yuna, he frowned. "Where is that woman?" Dae-Hyun looked up slowly, his eyes red from crying. "She left." Lucian's face darkened. "She left you just like that?" Dae-Hyun nodded weakly. "She said she's not my maid. She can't take care of me." Lucian sighed deeply. "I don't blame her, I blame you. I warned you, Dae-Hyun. You chased away the only woman who truly loved you, the woman who suffered with you when you had nothing. Now see who you chose instead. You threw away gold for dust." Dae-Hyun covered his face and began to cry. "Brother, you are right. I have realized my mistake. Every night I see Amani's face in my dreams. I hear her crying. I see our children calling me. I feel so empty." Lucian placed a hand on his shoulder. "You see, brother, pride is a dangerous thing. You mocked your wife for being black and plus-sized, but that same woman carried your pain, your shame, and your hunger for years. She was your helper, your gift from God." Dae-Hyun wept louder. "Brother, I have destroyed my life with my own hands. Please, please help me. Take me to Amani. Let me beg her for forgiveness. Even if she refuses to come back, let me tell her I am sorry." Lucian nodded slowly. "It won't be easy, but I'll talk to her. I'll tell her what has happened. I just hope it's not too late." Dae-Hyun wiped his tears. "I don't care if she doesn't want me again. I just want her to forgive me. I can't sleep at night knowing how much I hurt her." Lucian sighed sadly, looking at his broken brother-in-law sitting helplessly in a wheelchair. "I warned you, Dae-Hyun, but maybe this pain will teach you to value true love." Dae-Hyun whispered softly, "I lost everything, brother, but if I can see Amani one more time, maybe I'll find peace." Lucian placed his hand on his shoulder again. "Rest now. I'll go and find her." Dae-Hyun nodded, crying silently as Lucian stood up and walked toward the door. When Lucian stepped outside, he looked up at the sky and whispered, "God, touch Amani's heart. Let her forgive him. He has learned his lesson." 2 days later, Lucian went to see Amani. She was at her new job as a secretary, arranging files in her office when he walked in quietly. When she turned and saw him, she froze in surprise. "Brother Lucian," she said softly, "what are you doing here?" Lucian smiled sadly. "Amani, can we talk?" She quickly finished organizing a document, closed the file, and nodded. "Yes, of course." They sat on a small bench outside the building. Lucian looked into her tired but peaceful face and sighed deeply. "Amani," he began, "I know Dae-Hyun hurt you badly. He insulted you, mocked you, and abandoned you when you needed him most. But God has dealt with him in his own way." Amani looked worried. "What happened?" Lucian's voice softened. "Dae-Hyun had a terrible accident. Both of his legs were badly injured. He can't walk for now. He's in a wheelchair. And Yuna left him the moment she realized he couldn't provide for her anymore. He's all alone now. He asked me to beg you to forgive him." Amani gasped. "Jesus, my God," her eyes filled with tears. "Is he alive?" Lucian nodded slowly. "Yes, but he's broken, not only in body but in spirit." Amani wiped her tears quietly. "Brother Lucian, I suffered. That man made me feel like I wasn't human. He threw me away like trash. My children cried every night. I cried too. The pain was too much." Lucian held her hand gently. "I know, my sister, but you've always had a soft heart. Don't let bitterness take over. Forgive him even if you don't go back. Forgiveness will give you peace." Amani looked down for a long moment, then nodded slowly. You're right. I can't carry anger forever. I'll forgive him, not because he deserves it, but because I want peace in my heart. Lucian smiled softly. God bless you, Amani. You don't know how proud I am of you. She wiped her eyes and whispered, Please take me to him. Let me see him. Later that evening, Lucian drove Amani to the house she once called home. Dae-Hyun was sitting in his wheelchair by the window, staring into space when he heard the door open. He turned slowly, and his heart nearly stopped. Amani, he whispered. She stood there wearing a simple dress, her eyes full of tears. For a long moment, both of them just stared at each other in silence. Dae-Hyun's lips trembled. You came. Amani nodded softly. Yes, I came. He wiped his eyes quickly. Amani, I don't deserve to look at you. I wronged you in every way. I mocked your skin color. I insulted your body. I threw you out like you were nothing. I thought I was wise, but I was blind. I lost everything because of pride. He broke down, crying helplessly. Please forgive me, Amani. I beg you in God's name. I can't sleep at night. I see your face and the faces of our children. Please forgive me. Amani's tears fell as she knelt beside him. Dae-Hyun, I forgave you even before I came here. I just asked God to give me strength to say it. I've carried that pain too long. Dae-Hyun covered his face and wept. I don't deserve your kindness. You are gold, Amani. I threw away gold and picked up sand. She touched his hand gently. You didn't throw away gold. You just didn't recognize its value until it was too late. Lucian, standing by the door, wiped his own tears quietly. He had never seen such a powerful moment. Dae-Hyun whispered, Will you ever come back home? Amani smiled sadly. Dae-Hyun, what you need now is healing. Let's take things one step at a time. I'll be here to help you walk again. Not because I owe you, but because I still care. Dae-Hyun nodded, sobbing softly. Even hearing that gives me hope. Amani smiled faintly. The children miss you. When you get stronger, they'll come see you. Dae-Hyun smiled through his tears. Thank you for not giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself. Lucian placed a hand on both of them. This is what love and forgiveness look like. God has restored what pride destroyed. Weeks passed and Amani kept her promise. She visited often after work, helped Dae-Hyun eat, gave him his medication, and even made him laugh again. The children came on weekends, filling the house with laughter once more. Dae-Hyun worked hard during his physical therapy. He cried through the pain, but never gave up because every time he looked up, Amani was there smiling and cheering him on. Come on, Dae-Hyun, she said one afternoon. You can do it, one more step. And for the first time since the accident, Dae-Hyun managed to move his legs a little. Everyone clapped joyfully. Amani's eyes shone with happiness. See, I told you, God still has plans for you. Dae-Hyun smiled weakly. And this time I won't waste it. He looked at her deeply. Amani, you're the real blessing I never valued. You taught me what true love means, and I'll never forget it. She smiled softly. And you taught me that forgiveness is stronger than pain. As months passed, Dae-Hyun slowly learned to walk again with a cane. He and Amani rebuilt a quiet friendship based on peace and respect. The children were happy again, and even Lucian smiled whenever he visited. One cool evening, Dae-Hyun sat outside with Amani and said quietly, You know, I used to think beauty was about skin color and body size. But now I know beauty is about the heart that stands by you when everyone else walks away. Amani nodded gently. And I've learned that forgiveness doesn't make you weak, it makes you free. They both smiled at each other as the golden sun slowly disappeared behind the trees. Dae-Hyun whispered, Thank you, Amani, for everything. She smiled softly, Thank God, not me. And as the evening breeze blew across the yard, it carried away the pain of the past, leaving behind peace, forgiveness, and a love that found healing again. Amani's story reminds us that the people who love us at our lowest deserve our respect at our highest. If this touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Amani Wright gave Dae-Hyun the world when he was a ghost in a city that didn't see him. She loved him when he was a mattress on the floor, yet he threw her away once he reached the sky. This story isn't just about a marriage. It's a mirror held up to the shadows of pride, colorism, and the silent strength of a woman who knows her worth, even when the one she loves forgets it. Now, I want to bring this conversation to you. Karma eventually found its way to Dae-Hyun's door, but Amani's choice is what stays with us. If you were in Amani's position, would you have walked away forever, or is there a level of betrayal that even a heart as big as hers shouldn't forgive? And to the brothers watching, if you were Lucian, how would you have handled a man who mocked the sister who built him? Your perspectives are the heartbeat of this channel. Please share your honest thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If this story touched your soul or reminded you of your own strength, give this video a like and subscribe to join our family. We tell the stories that matter because your voice matters. Until next time, keep choosing peace and remember, karma never loses an address. We'll see you in the comments. Happy Valentine.